not every project grabs my attention, but this one certainly did. I don't even know where I actually first saw it or saw anything about it being announced or anything, but let's get after it. Let's check it out. All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I am going to be looking at I say it's brand new, it actually was announced last year, but I want to check out this new project called Raptoreum, and that's what we're going to be covering tonight. Super fast here, probably not going to take that long. If we go to Raptoreum.com, I can show you that URL up here, I think. There we go. So you go to Raptoreum.com, and that's their main webpage. They just recently redid their logo and stuff. They were going all over the place with their logo, but they finally got it squared away, which I was happy to see. Basically, what is Raptoreum? The goal and tech of Raptoreum has changed slightly over time, since launch and everything. As many projects do when they're just getting going. But as it stands right now, they are a code fork of Ravencoin, designed to be a flexible system for the creation and transfer of futures, assets, and contracts. So it's basically like Ravencoin on steroids, basically. It adds service nodes and smart contracts to Ravencoin, basically. Raptoreum gets its name from Raven, which is an honorary raptor, and they combine that with Ethereum due to the smart contracts and the similarities there. So that's where Raptoreum comes from. And if you head over to their Bitcoin Talk thread, real quick, I'll just do a quick search, show you that real quick. So they were announced on November 8th of 2018. This is what their logo used to look like. But they are being designed as a platform for the creation and transfer of assets using smart contracts in an on-chain trustless manner with an ASIC and FPGA resistant algo and service nodes for smart contract and security feature management. These smart contracts are not added like in Ethereum and open the network up to distributed application development. The team is dedicated to keeping FPGAs and ASICs off the network. It's also looking like there'll be some fairly tight integration with IPFS as well, the Interplanetary File System. And that'll enable feature sets properly across the network. All the different little things that they want to implement will be supported by IPFS, or IPFS will help support those features. They are creating their own algo called Ghostwriter. And that's a combination of x16r and kryptonite algorithms. x16r is more core intensive, and we all know that kryptonite, one of my favorite algorithms, is more memory intensive. With the technology limitation of x16r being core intensive and not using much memory, it was easier to create ASIC and FPGAs for x16r, and there's quite a bit of proof now that FPGAs are on the Ravencoin network, possibly ASICs, but there's definitely some proof of FPGAs. Something that may come to be quite useful is the Ghostwriter algo will apparently provide the capability of changing one of the algo parameters to basically disable FPGAs if they do appear on the network, and ASICs if they try to mine RTM. Now I don't know if there's I don't know how they're doing it technologically. This is something that has been talked about over time, that for the most part people say it's not possible, but it seems like they being the devs for Raptoreum have figured it out, and that is super cool, being able to basically change an algorithm on the fly to kick off the FPGAs and ASICs. They are also designing Prism, which is an open source 51% or double spin attack protection using the service nodes that are going to be on the network. As stated previously, RTM, that's their ticker, Raptoreum, is a code fork of Ravencoin, RVN. So it inherits the current and future capabilities of Ravencoin, such as assets, voting, rewards, messaging, all those features of Ravencoin. But RTM adds the capability to lock tokens into an asset for unlocking at a certain time stamp or block height. And we're going to get into that a little bit more in just a minute, because we're going to talk about some of the use cases for Raptoreum that I have seen online. While creating and managing assets on the Ravencoin network is fairly easy for people familiar with the system, it is not very intuitive for people that are not familiar with the system, because everything has to be done from within the wallet, the Ravencoin wallet, and it's the old Qt style, so it's not real user friendly, right? But Raptoreum's focus is going to be on mass adoption and the ability for anyone to easily create assets in a user-friendly way. I always like those words when it comes to adoption, user-friendly way. It's one of our barriers, right, to adoption. I suspect that there's going to be intuitive interfaces, probably web-based, maybe mobile-based, for asset creation and management. Sure, Ravencoin has some of that with the mobile wallet. It's not really that difficult to create assets and things like that, but it looks like that's going to be one of their focuses. The service nodes on the Raptoreum network store and run the smart contracts and allow the Prism protection to run. So the service nodes are dual purpose, basically. It uses a custom emission curve and a tiered service node reward system that focuses on the services provided instead of how many coins are stored. So it's not like a normal master node setup where you store a bunch of coins and you get paid based on how many, or you get rewards based on how many coins are stored. Prism nodes will receive 5% of asset fees, and the nodes running the contract layer will receive 15% of block rewards. So the Prism nodes receive 5% of the asset fees, so as people create assets and those fees, instead of being just straight up burned like they are on the Ravencoin network, it looks like they're going to redirect a portion of that, 5%, to the nodes that are running the Prism security feature, the 51% attack protection. So that is kind of cool. The contract layer, the nodes that are running the contract layer are going to receive 15% of the block rewards, like I said a while ago. And let's look at, I think I have to go to, that's not on here. Trying to remember where I need to go to see the block rewards. Oh, it was white paper, that's right. Oh, that's not the right one. Not in France, French. Let's go here. If we scroll down here, it talks about here's the reward structure. This is in their light paper, and I don't think they've released an actual white paper yet. This is just a light paper, just some real quick information. Pretty much everything that I just talked about is laid out in here. And this is the reward schedule and structure. And Raptoreum is currently in TestNet stage 3. They're not mineable yet as far as actual mainnet or anything like that. They are just getting going. And they do have a wallet, a Windows wallet that you can download, and you can get it up and running on TestNet. I think they have other wallets as well. I don't know all the different versions, but I'm on Windows, so that's what I use. And in order to, so you would download the wallet. Let's head over to their website and just see if we can, if you click download, it goes to the wallet. They have Linux, Mac is not available yet, and Windows, so you just click download there. They're on TestNet stage 3. So you would download that, you click that, and then download the Windows version or the Linux version. And then once you get it installed, and up and running and synced and everything, I would run it and allow it to sync. But I think you can actually start mining prior to sync. I don't know. Actually, no. You would probably have to wait until it syncs. And then once this is up and running, if you want to mine on the testnet, you would just click Help. The debug window will look like this. And then you would type in, depending on your processor, you can set it to use, now this is CPU based, right? This is not GPU. I guess I think this is still just CPU. So you would just click, or you would type in set generate, and then true to enable it, and then the number of processors or threads that you want to apply to the mining. Mine, I just do 4. So it's set generate true 4 like that, and it's basically not going to tell you much, but that just means that it is actually mining if it doesn't come back with an error. You can kind of see that over here. Actually, you could also probably do a get info. And I'll show you some information about the network and what's going on in the wallet. So yeah, wow, there's 39 connections. That's a lot for a testnet. I like to see that. So that is testnet. You can see it looks a lot like the Ravencoin wallet. You can create assets over here. I haven't created any yet. Probably blast through one real quick just because it's testnet. We'll do quantity 1, reissuable, and then create asset. We'll see how this goes. Gives you a second to confirm. Click yes. And it's been sent to the network. And remember, this is all just testnet, so you're not going to break anything over here. Now they do have some, well, I say you're not going to break anything, but what I mean is, these coins aren't worth anything, okay? So it's just a test network, just to test functionality and things like that. And you can see right here that it costs 500, the same as Ravencoin, to create an asset, and that gets burned off of the network, sent to an address that is not retrievable, or a wallet address. And I don't know, let's see, manage assets. Probably won't show up in here until it's all confirmed and everything. So we'll see how long that takes. But that was just a quick little overview of that if you wanted to mine on the testnet. So as far as use cases for Raptoreum, there's several of them online that people have written up. I don't know if they're the developers for Raptoreum, but there's some pretty good ones. Let's check out this one here. This is a massively multiplayer online role-playing game, use case for that. And I'll just read from this, actually do a quote from this use case here. So you could generate an RTM address in an in-game client and attach it to your item. Let's say you had something unique or rare, like some type of weapon in a multiplayer game, online game, and you could attach that address to your item, set a price, and now when a player makes the purchase, either by an in-game currency or native RTM coins, and sends the required amount to your address, a smart contract fires that verifies the amount, sends the asset to the sending address. The game sees this transfer, which triggers it to transfer the item to the buyer in the game. So you see that this is like a zero risk, this zero risk functionality leads to happier players and a better gaming experience. So that is just one use case for this. And I said a long time ago how a lot of the adoption of crypto will probably begin with gaming. It's probably going to be gaming and gambling, right? Those are the two vices, so to speak, that will probably implement the most, the majority of crypto capability to begin with. So this is a really cool use case scenario for that. They also have a more business-like futures contract use case. And I'm not going to pretend to be some type of an expert on futures, but from what I can tell, you can basically set it up to where you can lock, as I discussed earlier on in the video at the top, at the beginning, I mentioned being able to lock coins into a contract or into an asset, and then you can set it to where it'll unlock at a future date, or burn, or what, all these different ways that you can use a smart contract to actually manage that asset. So this is just another example where I think they give, I was trying to remember what they actually say in here. Let's see. Yeah, so they looked up, it's kind of cool, they looked up futures explained on Google, and it explained it like this, and they're saying, nope, it feels pretty good to be able to write a rebuttal to Google. As far as Raptoreum is concerned, futures trading no longer requires exchanges. So it's talking about basically an on-chain, on Raptoreum network alone, without an exchange, futures contract. I think that's super cool. That's a giant step in the right direction for decentralizing the blockchain space in general and RTM in particular. So for example, the miner who would like to stay on the chain but has some bills that needed covering now can issue an asset using some of his accumulated coins. He chooses to issue a future token asset worth, for example, 10K Raptoreum, locked for 44,000 blocks, which is about a month. The details of the amount and lock will be available in the asset's IPFS. So again, there's that integration with IPFS, the interplanetary file system, basically like just a massively distributed online storage, basically, is the easy way to look at it. This asset can now be freely traded OTC or on an exchange. So basically what they're saying is you could create an asset, throw some coins, basically your Raptoreum in there, and then set it to expire on a certain day or whatever, and then trade that on the network or on an exchange or over the counter. Once the Raptoreum contract layer kicks in, the dApps can be developed to facilitate a fully decentralized futures market. Till then, it's fully client-side transaction. And then upon expiry of the lock, a transaction will be released and the locked coins become available in the asset holding wallet. So it's basically like being able to sell Raptoreum early without actually having the coins, right? So it's like a traded scenario. Super neat. If you want to read about this, I'll try to put this in the description of the video. And that is just a really quick look at Raptoreum, guys. That's all I really got. Let's see, I think I can go back to their website over here. Yeah, and that is going to do it. Let me check the chat, see if anybody's even in here listening or anything. Oh, for some reason it says my video output is low, so hopefully that's not too bad. All right, so that is going to do it for me, guys. I appreciate you watching and hanging out and checking it out. I do appreciate it. I recently went over 1,000 subs, so that's kind of cool. Tell all your friends and all that stuff so that we can increase those numbers even more. I am not enabling Super Chat just yet because I don't know if you guys know this or not. And I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but YouTube actually takes 30% of Super Chats. I think that number is a little bit high. So I don't want, like, if you were to donate to me, I don't really, I don't know, I just have this thing about it. Because it's kind of, you think that, like, let's say you were to donate $10, right, through Super Chat. I would only get 7 of that. YouTube would get 3. So they're already making money on advertising and stuff like that. I haven't monetized my site. Or my channel. I don't know. I'm going to have to be convinced otherwise to enable the Super Chat thing. I just don't think that's right. But I don't know. Anyway, that's just my take on it. I just don't like the 30%. That seems like a lot to me. So I will see you guys next time. Probably won't do a stream over the weekend. Maybe. I don't know. There for a while I was trying to do one on Saturdays, but I don't know if I'll be able to make it or not. We'll see. This is my third stream of the day though. So some quick ones, but still pretty good for 3 live streams in one day. See you guys in the next one. Stay savage.